It's a lot more organised people.
Oh, it's good to be organised. Makes everyone feel normal.
Yeah.
Week been? No.
There we are.
How's your week been?
Yes, my week's been really good. Sorry everyone for that. Slight delay and then technical issues. But yeah,
Always.
really good. Like you, I really enjoyed doing the tasks. I have done them before. But yeah, just like even reviewing them, and it says in the book, doesn't it? If you need to review them, then that's all good. So I know that I just wasn't in the right frame of mind last time. So this time I'm just feeling super focused and super excited about it as well.
I think that makes all the difference, doesn't it? Like whether you're ready to do it or if you kind of aren't in the right headspace, it can make such a difference.
You know what? I think that's true. I said that to I had a FaceTime with Chloe from the Fridge Raiders,
Yeah.
and I said that to her like I must have just been ready, and I do think that, but she said, but sometimes I think you just got to force yourself, and I
Yeah.
think point where I was like, enough's enough. Like something's got to change, and this is, I think, combining this with plan has been a massive force yourself to do it, Laura. It's time.
Yeah. I think you just get sick. You either feel like you have to, or you just get to a point where you're like, this can't carry on. Like it just can't. So yeah, it's been good, and it's nice to like actually go over it and really think about it and kind of yeah, just sort of like break it down a bit rather than just. I think there was something in here I've highlighted it. We'll probably get to it, but it was like you wouldn't like you need to prepare for it. Like
Mm-hmm.
just start diets and then they hit a hurdle and it goes downhill.
Mm-hmm.
But for so many other things, you'd prepare and kind of like even if you was going on a journey, like you'd get your sat nav, you'd get the postcode, just see where you're going. Like there's all these things that you'd be doing in the run up to actually going out that like you take your bag, you get your keys, like there's all these different things. So yeah, I think it's been really
Cowpole, just in case, like all these just in cases, isn't it?
yeah. Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
we
when you got kids. When you got kids, the thing's massive. Did you say cowpole or did I just imagine that?
Cowpole. If you, yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
oh, fence, you know. That as a mum, you like uber prepare for stuff, but when it comes to
Yeah,
ourselves, it putting ourselves at the bottom of the pile.
always.
Yeah.
So day
So
one,
day one, yes, record the advantages of losing weight. You touched on this last week about using our whys.
yes,
Um, I've very much focused on with my slimmers in that first appointment, what is your why? And we delve into it and really, you know, if you don't like looking in the mirror, why not? What is it you see in the mirror? You know, and so on, you know, don't like shopping. Why don't you like shopping? What are you looking forward to about shopping? And we really, really like delve into it and do a big detailed why. So it's along the same lines, really, isn't it? It's just bullet pointed and remembering to read them every day.
definitely. I think rather than like you said, rather than surface level, I don't like this. Why, and working out what it is that's actually making you feel like that. Um, that's really good. I wrote on mine, and Daisy got hold of it and scribbled all over it. Can you say?
Oh, bless her. I've got mine. I got these as record cards. I got these so it goes over like that. So they're all in the same place.
That's a good idea.
When last time I did this book club with some of my slimmers, someone had one. And I was like, brilliant. And it's all like multicolored. So it's a bit more interesting as well. Yeah.
Because I've taken it. So have you been sticking to reading them and going through it like and keeping an eye on it? What have you been doing?
So I did one, or what on the advantages.
Yeah, because it says like to read them throughout the day. So have you picked certain points, or is it just whenever you kind of think of it?
Keep them by my chair where I sit and with all my books and everything, and my to-do lists. But I also have a reminder come up on my phone on my iPad that says read your why.
Love
When at
that.
10, 4 o'clock, because I figured I'm not doing it before 10 o'clock because obviously getting the kids up, getting the kids to school. Sorry, I've got a cat trying to get in on the act. Nice one. This is why we go. Yeah, and then 4 o'clock it's after the school run. So yeah, both of them run because I know I'm gonna have time to do it then.
That's a good idea.
But yeah, I think I like the idea of setting reminders to come up on your phone, like, you know, even like, what am I thinking? Like flashing up to
Yeah. Well, yeah, because
yeah,
I've an alarm. Like I've literally set it for 10 to 4. I didn't think of it like you, because that would probably be me, where I'd just kind of do it when I was meant to be on the school run and it just irritate me and I'd turn it off. So it's good that you actually thought about it like that. But yeah, because it goes off and I'm like, oh my God, what am I supposed to be doing? And then I'm like, right, okay, it's that. And I've also, to make it easy, like got it on my screen on my phone so that I can just, rather than trying to hunt for it, it's there already.
yeah. I have done that before actually. I've got it saved on my phone in my favourites, so I can go back and read it properly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So actually, we said, didn't we, if there's any questions throughout the live, there's the little question mark button at the button at the bottom. Feel free to put any questions in that you want us to answer. And we will, of course, be sharing this video if you want to watch that on our IGTV. And it will go onto YouTube and our Facebook group, Wannabe Losers Weight Loss Motivation. So you can watch it back on those channels.
It's good. And then you think,
Wave.
who's that?
Sorry, I said if you are watching back, give us a wave in the comments.
I know you keep. I don't know if it's because we're talking at the same time. Just getting very excited.
Probably is.
No. So I think So day one I think was my favourite day, because it just felt like there was so many things to kind of get down. And definitely when it said about you think you always know your why and it'll always be a big enough reason, but like it's easy to forget when there's stuff around and there's temptation around and you're like, no, I can't remember, it's not that important, just having that there.
But actually I like the fact that it encourages you to add to that list, like as you go on as well, because sometimes you're like, you know, if you think forward to maintenance, you might think, I lost a loop on my belt today and it made me feel amazing. Adding something like that just reiterates when you're in that maintenance mode, not to go back, just to forget these habits.
Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of, you can use that as well later on, doesn't it, when it says about giving yourself credit, like celebrate. So that would be one of them as well. So it does all really interlink together, but it's kind of like, yeah, going through it. So yeah, one was, and so many of the reasons, when it's got on here, the reasons why, look, I've ticked like most of them.
Same. Yeah.
All of
very importance and added bits of.
So did you at the bottom?
Yeah. I mean, this is from when I filmed it last time, but mine are mainly like, I'd got to the point where I was embarrassed to drive my car, like my diet car. So that's my like number one thing. Like, it's my job. I shouldn't be embarrassed to do it. You know I do a good job. I know I've got loads of slimmers that do amazing, but I just want to be a product of, you know, the diet. Oh, it's amazing and how it works.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
People just go off face value, don't it? So like when they see cars like that are sign written going through a McDonald's drive-through and they like take a picture and you're like, getting food for my kids, or like, just because you do it don't mean you can, but it's just for yourself, isn't it, like you said?
I know if I'm driving my car, that's like, it's actually like I can't cheat because I'm in my car. Whereas my husband, if he drives my car and he comes back with McDonald's, I'm like, what are you doing?
I can imagine him doing that as well on purpose.
Yeah. And he'll go, oh no, I parked down the road. You didn't know, did you?
Oh my God, I can totally see him do that as well. It's so funny. I've highlighted another quote from day one. If your doctor gave you an antibiotic to get rid of a bad infection, would you only take half the pill? Would you? No way. So I like the way she puts it into different scenarios and makes you think, actually, yeah, that's very, very true. How did you find day two?
Yeah, day,
That's all right. I think because we know what we're going to do, but for other people, oh, look, Ben, he's come just to the point.
yeah, he's in the other. He's probably heard me say it and like, right, I'm gonna.
Meant to be working. I think because what we were doing, didn't we?
What was that, sorry?
In terms of, obviously, we'd be doing the one-to-one diet. So, but that day 2 is choosing one, isn't it?
Yeah. So what I did and encourage sort of other people to do is this plan is designed for if you can't stick to it, there's others. You know, there's other steps. So I put my 2 diets were, hey girls, my 2 diets are step 1B, obviously with the idea of moving up the steps, but my backup, if I struggle with 1B, I've got step 2 and even step 3, you know.
I like that. So rather than just put in the one-to-one diet, you literally broke it down to the step. That's a good idea, isn't it?
Put it into perspective as if I had a dieter come to me and was like, I just stick to it.
Yeah.
What do I up? And yeah, so there is so much, you know, it's not just 1B or nothing.
No.
You know, variety there. And
I love that. Yeah, because it is what it says, what she says, isn't it? So it's flexible, nutritious in terms of you don't always have to be on products, even though they've got all the nutrients you need, but you've got the higher steps as well. And obviously finding that balance with all the different steps, you've got all that different choice. So obviously for us it's a no-brainer, but that's where it fits kind of for everyone. But it's I didn't even think about breaking it down like that at all.
But I like the idea of having a backup diet because yeah, if it gets too hard, you're just going to quit. I can't, you know, if I was doing 1A, I can't cope on 1A, so that's it. I'm leaving. I'm not doing it anymore. But actually, there are other things that you can do. I've had a lady this week that was like, "Oh, this is going to have to be my last order on 1B." She said, "Christmas coming up. I've said to my husband, I'll stop." And I was like, "Well, hold on a minute. Let's make these products last. Like we can make them last 3 week of step 3 and then 2 of week 4, and you've got 3 weeks instead of 1 week." And you know, it's having that backup, isn't it?
Definitely. Like you said, the time of year, you need that choice. I've probably, Anna Louise won't mind me saying, she's said it yesterday, she's doing step 3 now, like with things coming up in the run up to Christmas, like she does all her exercise just because, and like we said about your why will change throughout. Your circumstances will change as well and what's important to you. So whether you do want to do more exercise or you do want to be more flexible, maybe you've got family or friends and stuff, it doesn't mean you have to stop completely. You can do the higher steps and that's what they're there for. So it's just about planning that and just having that awareness, isn't it, as well?
No, I mean, I'm planning to be 1B right up until Christmas, apart from next Friday. I've got a night out with the girls and I'm going to drive, so I'm just going to drink my water, but there's a meal, so I'll be sensible. I've made sensible choices, but I'll have 2 products during the day and then have that. So I'm, you know, loosely doing a step 3 or 4 day.
Yeah.
Just because then I'm not off plan, because that can spiral, can't it?
Exactly. I do think not drinking is just like such a big one as well. Like it just makes it go on, doesn't it, for like days after, or as if you think, well, no, I'm still going to have
me, hangovers last a week.
I think that's an age thing, isn't it? You just get to an age and you're like, I can't deal with this anymore. Like it's ridiculous. So yeah, so day 2 was kind of,
it was a bit cold, but you know, but it's nice to sort of think about it, really, isn't it?
Definitely. What about day 3, sitting down?
100%. Where I've done drinking is the gateway to all wrong decisions. Yeah. So eating sitting down. Yeah, when I've done this program before with my slimmers, they what's he saying?
Only a week. Your hangovers last.
Right. And before eating generally happens standing up, like because it's quick. You're at the fridge. It's quick. You just want to eat it so it doesn't count. Like if I do it quickly, I can't think about it too much, and your body, and it says in the book, your body doesn't realise that it's had food in enough time to tell you that it's full. So it is something that I'm not always very good at doing, because I suppose where I'm on the go all the time. But it is just about better planning. Sometimes I like to have a product when I get back from the school run, but sometimes as I'm leaving, I'm like, oh, I'm so hungry, I've just got and I'll grab a bar and just take a bite and save the rest. But it goes back to making time to do it, doesn't it? And concentrating, and actually,
No, go on, what was you going to say?
I'd say there's another day, isn't there, that's quite similar. The day 5 is eating slowly and mindfully. Like that's something. I look back to the first time I started this journey, I would literally chew and chew and chew and chew, and literally appreciate every single mouthful. Like a lot of my slimmers will use a teaspoon when they're eating their products, or like really like take little nibbles. So I suppose it's making sure you don't get to the point of absolute ravenous where you just want to like scoff it all down and eat standing up. Like if you're making time to eat in good time, then hopefully you can sit down and you can eat slowly and mindfully.
Yeah, and I'm like that. If I'm on products and I've got porridge, it's always a teaspoon. I think because in terms of portion size and 200 calories, you do want to just enjoy it. Whereas if maybe on the higher steps you're thinking, oh, I've got the calories, I'll just have it. And they're saying, wasn't she, that it takes like, so if you're consciously eating, like if you're eating, it's a conscious decision to eat it, rather than like I've so many times had like a bowl of cereal in the morning, standing up whilst I'm running around sorting the girls out, and I think, did I actually eat that, or like did I sit down and have like, I can't physically remember, apart from I did know I probably did eat, but it's because you can't. It's so strange, isn't it? Because you're so busy doing everything else. Whereas, like you said, after the school run, I know she says that kind of getting up earlier, sorting your clothes out from the night before, and being prepared. But I think with us, in terms of products, you want to have the first one a bit later. So it doesn't necessarily mean having to wake up earlier, but maybe, like you said, just having like water and thinking, I'm going to be back in 20 minutes and I can really enjoy it then, maybe. But yeah, it's just, isn't it? It's sort of that I've waited this long, I couldn't wait a bit longer maybe, and it'll just be, yeah.
And talk about it later on. It's not an emergency.
No.
School run law.
Yeah, exactly. Like you're not going to be, although you have been, yeah. But yeah, so more satisfied and things like that. So that one was really, but I do think, yeah, you probably do. I think I've realised that I do it a lot more, like I don't sit down as much as I actually realised. So now just thinking, right, okay. And now we've got our table in our dining room and stuff like that, hoping. And I think I find it's worse when I'm on my own, because I'll sit in front on the sofa and watch telly, which means I'm not concentrating on it. So I've like been right, okay, sit down, do that. So yeah.
Right. It's about being, she talks about it being visually satisfying rather than just stomach satisfied by feeling like, yeah, so visually giving yourself.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Give yourself credit.
What was that, sorry?
Give yourself credit. Do you give yourself credit?
Not nearly as much as I should. When you think, like, I think one thing I brought up on my grid was about how, if our kids, if we want to encourage them, we give them so much credit, and really if we want to build their confidence, and I know if they're playing football and I'm like, you're doing so well, this is brilliant. There's a video that Gareth Southgate done about positive and negative coaching, and you just, and it with adults even, and just like the positive, the negative manager wasn't has unhappy people that are down on themselves and grumpy, and the positive manager, even if it's not going your way, like the positivity just breeds positivity, doesn't it? And yeah, so I think we need to make sure we're relating that back to ourselves as well.
Definitely. Because I think we said about, I've mentioned it before when it was, I can't think what I was saying, but one of the scenarios that she put in here about like going to the restaurant and having the bread and kind of not
okay.
Like yeah, it's okay, like I've had it, like I'll just change my plan for later. Like, it doesn't mean you're set in stone and like you've sort of ruined it, sort of thing. So yeah, I think even if it doesn't go wrong, sorry, even if you don't stick to your plan 100%, maybe if you have your product earlier than you planned to or something like that, if you was on like one of the lower steps, that doesn't then mean that you've ruined the rest of the day and like there's no point carrying it on, or like if you have more calories in one meal than you was planning and stuff, because there's still positives you can take away from it and like things that you can do to learn in it. So yeah, I think giving yourself credit and stuff, and yeah, like she's put here, reinforcing your self-confidence and building awareness that you're strong and in control. Because I think sometimes when you feel like you've lost control, you just think, oh, I lied.
It's regaining the control again, isn't it? And saying, do you know what? Yeah, I had a bag of crisps when I didn't plan to, but I've done up until now, and normally that had been 6 bags of crisps, and I'm drawing the line. Proud of myself for just having one. And you know, again, not that I'm encouraging people to just go and have one bag of crisps, but you know, you get the picture. If you do slip, putting it into perspective, like we were saying with the tennis match last week, like just because you miss a shot, you're not gonna, you know, miss all the rest on purpose. Just, you know, do.
Right. Yeah. So I think for you, like you said, it's something that you really need to work on. It's not something we naturally do, is it? Like you said, with children and things like that, then it might be, but to ourselves, definitely not.
Treat everyone. So treat yourself like you treat your kids.
Yeah. Like kings and queens, like they get it all.
Yeah.
Like they leave this house to school looking like immaculate, and then you like roll up with your mum bun and you're kind of but yeah, in her tips just put, this is hard, I'll get better at it next time, I can do da, 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 da. So yeah, it's all just like a learning, lots and lots of things to think about, and kind of comparison and stuff like that.
It's unreasonable to think that we're not going to make mistakes, isn't it?
Yeah, but I think it's again like in this whole, like people go like Instagram versus reality sort of thing. Like if you see people doing really, really well, some people it can like turn and make you think kind of,
Rubbish, why can't I be like her?
Yeah, we've all been there. But yeah, there's just, I've like literally, I'm surprised my highlighter's still got like anything into it. But day 5, and you're right, with day 3, the sitting down, and the day 5, eating slowly and mindfully, I didn't really think until you said like how linked they are.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it goes hand in hand, doesn't it? Because I think if you eat sitting down, you are more conscious of what you're eating. And I always say to slimmers, if you're having a shake, remember that's 200 calories in that shake. It's the same as having a spag bowl. Like, think about while you're drinking it and appreciate every mouthful. Like, it makes so much difference, because otherwise you could just think, oh, I've only had a shake. Shake that's got all that nutrition. So think about that when you're having it. It's amazing how many of these tips we subconsciously have given to our dieters, and actually going, oh yeah.
It is true. And then when it was like when it says to find like a diet consultant, and it was just like someone that can problem solve and help you do this and help you do that, and you're like, but why can't I do that for myself?
Yeah, and but this is the thing, you know, if you're a, I don't know, a doctor, you might not always take your own advice. It's probably a bad example because doctors probably do, but you know, it's little things. Like, it's always easier, like if your best mate's in, you know, in a spot above her, you would tell her, don't be so hard on yourself, you know. We don't, like, with this, I suppose it's linked in with the giving credit, isn't it? We're so much harder on ourselves than we are anyone else. So having that person, you need it. You don't just become a consultant and all of a sudden that's it. And I think that's where a lot of consultants put the pressure on themselves to go, well, I should be able to do it now. But it's not like that. You need to have, like this book says, a diet coach. Just even run things by. Like, you might not need to speak to them every day, but you might need to just check in every week and say, this is how I've done this week, this is how much my weight's gone up and down, and just talk it out.
Yeah, because she's even put like a what you should talk about, isn't it? So like your weight change, the successes and the struggles, like every week, that's what you should talk about. And it says in there, it doesn't have to be like a professional, like I don't obviously consider myself a professional, but like it can be a friend or family member. It doesn't have to be like a consultant sort of thing, but it can be just someone who's quite level-headed, is quite impartial, I think, in some ways as well, so that they don't impose their opinions on you, and can obviously help, like if you have got problems and things like that, and just kind of help you break it down a little bit, which is what we need, isn't it? So that again,
someone that's positive as well. You don't need someone to go, you know, if you've said, oh, I've had a really bad week, I've eaten a load of rubbish, and then go, yes, it's rubbish, isn't it? Yeah, oh well, never mind, you're right now. Let's start.
Right. Why are you bothering? Just do what you want. Which is what partners can do sometimes. Is he still there? Just because that's the thing, because sometimes as well, if people think that's what you want to hear, then they'll just say it and you're like, no, I need you to pull me back down, sort of thing. So yeah, it's true, just having that other person there, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Just go back and read your list, read your advantages of losing weight. Just go back and have a read, see if that helps. Like that, it could be as simple as that, couldn't it? Just to remind you of all the other steps that you've gone through.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, pull you back down.
Not you know, you don't need someone following you around going, don't eat that, don't eat that.
Although smack it out your hand as you walk around. I don't know, that might be helpful to start with, like it just it's like no. And then day 7,
how did you get on with
sorry, go on.
How did you get on with that, arranging your environment?
Well, I thought it was quite interesting, really, because obviously I've got a lot of people in the house, and asking them to like get rid of it or things like that. But it's the same as what you said with this and doing this book. It doesn't bother me. And Lindsay said it as well, obviously, with Harry. Like, if you're in the right headspace, it doesn't matter. Like, I could have an open thing on the side and it really wouldn't bother me. But on a day, or if I am just struggling in general, it doesn't matter what it is. Like, I will literally find anything. And so it's having that.
When I'm on plan, the hardest thing for me is hot dogs and baked beans. 2 things I never choose to eat normally. For some, the smell of hot dogs just makes me want one, and I never enjoy a hot dog. It's just basically plastic crap, isn't it?
You've had that pregnancy cravings. We now have weight cravings.
But yeah, I'm the same as you. When I'm in the zone, I won't even lick my finger with something. With, you know, if I get bean juice on it, I won't even lick my finger. And if I'm having a day where I'm struggling, I'll say to Ben, can you serve up dinner tonight? Because I'm just feeling a little bit like yesterday I was having a hungry day, and I just said I had to go out. Where was I yesterday? I had to nip out, and I was like, oh, Connor had training. So I was like, I'm going football training. Can you please eat dinner while I'm out? So I will sort of like say stuff like that, because I think he's probably learned, because if he tells me not to eat something, he'll feel the full wrath if I'm in hanger mode. So but as a consequence of that, he's not very good at like telling me, you don't want to eat that, because
she's not saying she beats him at all. But no, so it's like arranging, and again, and that's where everyone's situations are different. I know, again, with Anna Louise and Karen, when they were going back on plan, their fridge literally contained ready-mades, and that was it, whereas we couldn't have that. So everyone is so different. And so but one quote on here, I keep quoting, she put, don't worry about throwing out food, it's going to get wasted one way or another, either in the trash or in your body.
I love that. That is my favourite.
Oh my God.
Yeah, because it's way. And I put on my grid the other day exactly that point. Like, it's either wasted in the bin or it's wasted on your waste. And it's you think about that food that you think, you know, always after Christmas, isn't it, like chucking all the food away, you feel like, oh, I shouldn't really waste the food, I'll eat it. But then it doesn't touch the sides, does it? If you're eating it just for the sake of it, you're like, really, I haven't enjoyed that. Like, I'm eating it because it's there, as opposed to because I need to fulfill anything in me, and that is
Yeah.
more of a waste. um and the other side of it is the money. I always think like, oh, there's that whole bit of brie. Do I want to chuck that away? And then I think, oh, what is if I came off plan and decided I wanted some brie, I've got a couple of quid that I can spend on another bit. You know, so I'm
Yeah.
just like, really, in the grand scheme of it, how much of a waste is it really?
No, exactly. And it's not like you do it every week or anything like that for Christmas. Like, it's just a separate thing, isn't it? And I'm planning on just kind of like sending everyone home with things.
Definitely. Yeah.
Like, who wants this and who wants that sort of thing. But yeah.
The
And
5 of us this year, we have got people sort of popping in and out, but I've just decided, I mean, I'm not going to buy in a load of alcohol like I normally would. I'm not going to buy in a load of cheese and everything like I normally would. I'm just going to really cut back. Like, we don't need all that. We go shopping and have other ideas, but but
drilling it away.
yeah,
But it's really only
easy
one
balls.
day. And you're probably talking to your slimmers about it as well, like the next 5 weeks, say, like they're thinking, oh, I've got this coming up and this coming up and this coming up. But when you break it down, it might be on, say, 10 days or something. But then is it 10 full days or is it just 10 meals? And with that, that's nothing, is it, in the grand scheme of things? Like, my maths isn't great, so I'm not going to work it out. But yeah, so it's like out of 107 meals, so it was 5 weeks. Of 105 meals, and it's only 10. Like, that's nothing, is it? So you can kind of like work around it and things like that. So yeah, I think just because it's coming up, you think, oh, like, shall I just stop now and shall I just carry on? When really it doesn't need to. But yeah, that wasting food, like just removing it from the house, was one thing. And then that's where she says about the smaller like plates and bowls and things like that, and that's definitely a trick, because then again it goes to like that visual thing, isn't it, when you're sitting at a table and it's there in front of you, and if you've got a smaller plate but it's full up, you think, blimey,
Yeah,
like, it's a lot.
I feel with the savoury meals at the moment, because they put them in the microwave. You need a big bowl, don't you?
Yeah.
I'm like, really, I should cook it in a big bowl and move it into a smaller bowl. But I'm like, washing up though. I don't want to make more work for Ben. Just in case he's listening, guys. Yeah, I don't want to washing up.
No, it's true. And like, those savoury meals are sticky. Like, they like to cling on to bowls and stuff, don't they? So you just like be scrubbing them. Absolutely scrubbing them. But yeah, I think the first week's been a good week, to be honest. It's flown by.
Yeah, I think it's been brilliant. I love that you don't have to have started your diet and it's all, you know, the laying the foundations. I think that's brilliant. But yeah, but obviously you're still on plan as well, aren't you? We're on plan and working through it, and actually it's just given me so much positivity. And for anyone who wants to join in, like, you could absolutely still either catch up or, you know, read a day or two along with what we're currently reading. It's a shit, eh? Sorry, back. My husband's heckling us on the
Oh yeah, hit the comments. But with the when you said about that, just as I was waiting to start, a lady messaged me and she's like, I've ordered the book, but I'm going to start it on Monday. And I was like, but we've saved our lives, so you can just go through it in your own time and kind of catch up with that. So I think that's a really good thing where you're doing that. Then yeah, you don't have to be doing it straight away.
Yeah,
You can do it at your speed.
Absolutely. Cool. Well, like we said earlier, are you weighing in weekly as well? Yes, I am. Yes, I have been on plan for just over a week now. Yeah, I weigh in on Mondays.
She's doing it fantastically.
And I'm happy, but I don't want to. I could do with telling you my weight each week. Absolutely.
Oh, we'll do that. We'll have a little group.
Absolutely. If you start a group with us all in, absolutely that. We can, yeah, more than happy to do that.
I'll be a cheerleader.
Yeah, I've been sending Holly my way. I've been Laura Sable, I haven't put Holly as a collaborator, so it posts to both your pages. I do already do that. Thank you very much, Anna Louise. We save it to both our IGTVs, and then we put it onto our shared Facebook group, which is Wannabe Losers Weight Loss Motivation. So you can join that group. Anyone can join that group and contribute to anything in there. It's open to everyone. And we also have a YouTube channel that, or I've got a YouTube channel. I'm sure if you've got a YouTube channel that you share it to as well.
Yeah, I have one.
I have. all the links are in my link tree. I'm sure. Yeah,
I'll share it.
So if anyone wants to catch up to it, then that's absolutely great. If you want to watch back, if there's anything that you think, oh, I want to share that with someone, I know someone that would appreciate hearing that, then absolutely go for it.
Thanks for the chat.
Yeah, absolutely. And thanks everyone for joining us and for watching back. And yeah,
Here's to day 8.
Yeah, absolutely. I have already read it. Day 8.
I'm before bed, like, come on.
Yeah.
Nightmare.
Yeah, no, I read it because I've been popping in to see all my friends' cats today. Apparently, all my friends are away, so I've been doing the rounds.
Cat lady.
Yeah. So, anyway, love you.
Thank you.
And
we'll speak.
Yeah, see you next
week. Thanks, Ben.
Yeah, thanks, Ben. See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.